Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Nerd Tube. And it's time to talk about National Treasure, Season 1, Episode 8, The Prison Break. I'm here with my usual cohort, Cousin Cheeto, also known as Cheeto. How you doing?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. How are you?
So, I'm great, of course. Looking forward to talking about this. What do you think of this first episode, mate?
I thought it was okay. Kind of par for the course for the show. Not terrible, not fantastic. I mean, obviously, a lot of the mysteries are starting to come to fruition. A lot of the thing like some of the side plots and stuff like that are starting to go. We're actually getting the FBI agent involved now, finally, kind of, sort of. So I mean, that's the what do you call her, Linda Carter? I think you call her,
Agent Linda Carter,
yeah,
yeah.
Agent Linda Carter.
It's
Carter,
Agent Ross, but Linda Carter works for me.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is part for the. I mean, as I said, I think I said last week, it's the show is definitely not hitting me like story wise, writing wise, like it's not captivating me. But the characters I am liking. I'm liking the characters. I'm liking the acting. The group of friends is actually really endearing, and I'm really liking that. So that keeps me coming back every week. Except for NerdTube. Zam said I can't stop watching. I have to keep watching for him.
Let me tell you something about this show. Yeah, I think it's really fucking stupid, and I find the premises to be quite ridiculous, and I think there's plot holes everywhere. I love it.
What?
I love this show. Like, look, I'm watching this. I'm thinking to myself, why am I enjoying something that is so fucking stupid? And I really admit, I know this is not the smartest show on the planet, but I think I'm just a sucker for a good treasure hunt. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah, you are the Indiana Jones mark on our
yeah,
on NerdTube.
but yeah,
If anyone
yeah,
should
and
wear
it's
a
actually
brown fedora on camera, it should be you.
I did have one at one point. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but there are times where I just love like the puzzle solving and just going on quests and going through uncharted territory and stuff like that. It's very interesting, and yeah, I do enjoy this show, even though I know it has a massive amount of flaws. You know, so it's just some things that just happen to be convenient, some things just happen to be ridiculous,
I
but
mean,
nevertheless, yeah,
you're doing the thing that I did with Willow, where I knew there were plot holes, and I knew, but I kind of enjoyed the adventure, and I was enjoying, like, yeah, there were some issues definitely with that show, but this is your Willow. This is your Willow. Like, as I said, I'm not, the show's not keeping me, like, the story, like you said, like there's plot holes or stuff, and I don't hate the show for that, because the characters are kind of endearing, and it really makes me. And actually, Catherine Zeta-Jones is kind of growing on me as a villain. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought she was pretty
she's a good
stupid in the
villain.
beginning, but she's actually not doing bad now that we know she's the full-on baddie. Although I
Yeah,
do have
she's
to,
totally calculating.
yeah, and I also have to rescind my theory from last week, because I was 99% sure, well, 90% sure that that Catherine Zeta-Jones was Salazar, and and she still could be even after this episode. I think they're, because they were talking about
Yeah,
the mantle, so she technically still could be. But I was almost positive that Catherine Zeta-Jones's brother was Jess's dad. So, and that is obviously blown out the window now. But hello.
hello, Jim. And Jim, by the way, I look forward to doing Quantum Leap with you next week. So remember that,
Right,
my
Quantum
friend.
Leap is back.
Next week, a really interesting episode. It's got Robert Picardo in it.
Mhm.
So yeah. So well, look, just regarding Willow, like my issue with Willow is that there's a grandiose to it. There's a the epicness. Some of like the battle scenes should feel a bit more spectacular, and it doesn't. You know, and then obviously there's a slant of Americana within this medieval world, which just always rubs me up the wrong fucking way. So yeah, that's my issue with Willow. But this is a modern day series, looking for ancient artifacts, and it is set in the States as well. So some of the things that I would have got annoyed about in Willow, I can't get annoyed for in this because it's of the settings, and we're not having epic battles here. We just got a bunch of kids, just evading, you know, more powerful people, which is something we've seen in television a long time, where the kids always get one up on like the cops chasing them or whatever it may be, the henchmen, a bit like the Goonies, so to speak, and all of that.
Yeah, it's like the young adult Goonies.
Yeah, for sure. So in this episode, Billy confronts Raphael. She wants um she wants that third mother box, and she's willing to kill his daughter. But as we find out, Raphael is not Salazar. He is Raphael, Jess's daughter, Jessita. No, I used to think her name was Jessica, but no, it's Jessita. And and Billy's saying to her, "Look, I will kill your daughter," because as far as Billy's concerned, Raphael killed her brother, and she's quite convinced about that. Anyway, so there's something still there which needs to be resolved, in my opinion. Anyway, Jess, Tasha, Ethan, and Oren talk about breaking Jess's dad out of jail. Everyone's on board except for Oren. Oren, usually the more spectacular one, um, is trying to keep his feet on the ground regarding this. So he doesn't want to really be involved in the prison break. And the rest of the gang basically tell him, you know what, it's a good idea. You go back to America, because if shit happens, we need somebody to represent us back in the States. Jim says, I've been watching Night Court. Yes, Night Court. I heard it's your favorite show of all time. You love it more than Star Trek. The, the nurse called Miles, who was looking after Peter Sadusky, shows Liam the tracker devices that Billy uses to keep an eye on everybody. As Oren leaves, he mentions about the drainage ducts around the prison as the best way for a jailbreak. Raphael decides to pray to the spirit of his wife and save their daughter from Billy. Just then, the guard gives him a new pair of shoes. Tasha uses her hacking skills to hack the duct so that they remain dry for 10 minutes, giving Jess a chance to get Dad and get out.
Can we go back to the shoes really quick? Did we not see that coming? Like after that meeting, like did we not like a tracker in his shoe? Like come on, like really?
Yeah, and he said his praising worked. Yeah, praising got him into shit. Anyway, her dad also happened to be breaking out so that they can use, but they can't use the ducks because time's run out. But Raphael has his own plan of escaping. Jess and Raph are almost out, and they just have to get past the sniper tower. Jess is told to run, and Raphael will blind him with a mirror. All seems lost for Raph at the mercy of the sniper after his mirror is broken, but a sniper takes out the sniper. So this is one of those moments of stupidity I was talking about, which I give a pass to because I like this show. And the stupidity is that there's Jess she's risking her life to get her dad out of jail, and now her dad's staying behind so she can escape the jail that she had broken into to get him out. So, like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing, and there's so much slow mo. I mean, like Zack Snyder was foaming at the mouth watching this episode.
Oh, that was the worst slow mo ever. Like, I mean, my God, that
was
like slow mo. I mean, that was the slowest of slow mo.
Like, oh God, like, you're right, but I don't think he was trying to just let her escape. He was basically covering her while she did the fence. So.
But then who's gonna cover him?
Exactly. I mean, like, and then once the gates open, what the hell?
Because the whole point is that they need him to find the treasure. If they don't have him, like, because they couldn't really make, even though they had the mother boxes, they couldn't make sense of them, and so that's why they needed him to maybe put his expertise. So anyway, Redford just escaped in the mystery machine driven by Ethan and Tasha, who were previously checked out by some of the cops, which was a funny little scene. Oren arrives back.
This is one of those scenes that just really, as I was talking about the show being endearing and the characters being endearing. Like, this is one of those scenes that it was just for me. Yeah, it was endearing. It wasn't stupid. the cop was just like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh, nothing." And then he's like, "I was young once." Like it was just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." Just the
Yeah,
way
they
that
just play
scene
on it. Yeah, yeah.
the way that scene unfolded seemed very natural to for those actors, and it worked in my
Hmm.
opinion.
So Oren arrived back in the US, and FBI agent Linda Carter asked him some questions. Oren is being evasive and annoying, and the Fed knows this, that he's lying, but there's not much she can do about it. Um, Miles, the nurse, meets Billy's right hand man Dario at Pete Sadusky's place, saying that they failed to kill Liam, and he's got Liam tied up. And then it was obviously a ploy to take out Dario because Miles and Liam are working together. They take down Dario, but Dario's still got a right hand man outside. Uh, Liam, as they're tying up Dario's lifeless, no, not lifeless, but unconscious body, um, they no, he notices a phrase on Dario's phone, and he goes, "I recognize that phrase." And then he finds a book with the same phrase on it, so obviously that'll come into play.
I was gonna say I saw some highlighted stuff. Like if you when he was looking through the book and stuff, you could see highlighted like passages and
Hmm.
stuff. So I mean, I'm sure there'll be some kind of code to crack in the coming episodes with that book when Liam catches up with Jess and friends.
Yeah, for sure. Like Jesse's going, "Oh no, we needed so and so." Don't worry, I got it right here. I mean the book for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, um, whilst Dario is unconscious and he's tied up, they start hacking Dario's phone, and they see the large list of people Billy's hacking, and Billy's fucking hacking what
You mean
millions of people
tracking?
by the look, hacking, tracking, yeah. But she's like she's got them on notice, and
Dude,
she's
there's more freaking people on that globe than there are Starlink satellites up in orbit. And that's
yeah.
how many, I'm sorry, how are you tracking so many people at one time? I get it, you're rich, you've got all of this, all of these resources, but it's like you're really tracking that many thousand people across the world. Like,
Yeah, just
are
by
all these
Twitter, and
people
you
threats to you?
got just by Twitter, and you've got so many millions of people tracked anyway. Um, or any sort of social media site, and you've got people tracked. Regardless, Jess and Raf are dropped off somewhere where Raf's friend can get them back to the US, because obviously they getting back to the US is not easy for them as they're not US citizens. Raf also wants to get his special book too. Dario's henchman comes in looking for Dario. Billy calls Dario, and Liam responds saying he's going to get revenge on her. Billy sends guys after them, but before those guys arrive, Liam and Miles traps the henchman in the secret room, but Miles is killed in the process, which was a bit of a shocker for me. I'll be honest with you, I
I
didn't see
That
that
did
coming.
kind of come out of nowhere. I was kind of like, oh, they actually, I like, because they're sitting there shooting as he's closing the door, and it's like, okay, here we go. They're gonna close the door, and everyone's fine, and they're like, woo, that was a close one. No, I mean, dude got shot and pegged and
Yeah, he
died.
got right in the middle of the chest and died. So he served his purpose, I guess. Um, Ethan and Tasha arrive back in America and get raided by gun waving feds. And I think to myself, that is so American. It's like, get your guns out! Look, I'm fucking waving my fucking guns. Gun. Like it's so fucking American. Like, yeah, we will kill you, children. Even if you blink at us, motherfuckers. Anyway, Liam meets Oren and gets the lowdown on what's been going on since he climbed out of the river. Jess shows her dad the map from the three mother boxes, and Ralph explains the map is not a trail from the ground, but it's a map of the sky. Because, as we know, back in the day, people look at the constellation of the stars and they'll be using it for mapping, as
Well,
you,
and
I'm sure you're aware of.
did you also catch the Moon Knight parallels there? I'm surprised they didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to call on Kanju to turn back the night sky to the night that was formed. Yeah, that's what I first thought. I was like, where's Kanju? We need Kanju here.
Well, they kind of realize this is something beyond me, but they kind of realize that they need to go to Red Billy, Mississippi. And I call it Red Billy, but it's an amalgamation of redneck and hillbilly. But yeah, Red Billy, Mississippi, which is where possibly the treasure or the hidden city or gold or whatever they're fucking looking for, but I still don't know what the fuck they're looking for, to tell you the truth. But it's just a treasure so far. It's
Yeah.
going to be, I believe that's the final location. So I believe that's the final location.
I want to. Well, and I'm pretty sure that Jess had the Conju app on her phone. That's how she was able to like do the
Mhm.
thing and like line up the stars, and even though like that's not how it works. like that I'm sitting there going, that's not how constellations work. That's really not.
Yeah, but she's Jess, isn't she? So she's all good. Anyway, Captain Lou Albano arrives, saying the name Salazar is a faction that dates back to ancient Egypt. He's then just killed. I mean, like, what a waste of a character! Like, you got this guy running around in the background and stuff,
I
and all of
know
a sudden, and
for
then
for
yeah,
since
yeah,
episode what, 2, maybe 3.
yeah, and like he seems to have more to him, but then boom, they just kill him off. So two instant kills in this. Um, Jess then runs a little bit away. Raphael is held hostage. Billy says that she took out the sniper, helping them escape from the prison, and she's been tracking and listening to them the whole way with a device put in Raph's new shoes. Billy threatens to kill Raph, but then Jess looks into the distance, sees something, has an idea about something maybe I'm not aware of, but she decides to turn herself in so her dad doesn't get killed, and that's how the episode ends. So our gang now is kind of really split up. We've got Raph and her dad, sorry, which is Jess and Raph together. We've got Tasha and Ethan together, but they've been arrested by the feds. Liam and Oren are together, um, but they don't know what to do next, so to speak, because Jess could be anywhere, And I think, are we all like on the penultimate episode next week?
Yeah, next week is episode 9 of 10. So that's
Yeah,
the
so
penultimate episode. So we will be getting probably the best episode of the season next week, and then the final episode will probably be hot garbage.
I think what we're gonna get is next week we're gonna get some sort of coming together with certain people. I think for a start, I think Ethan and Tasha are gonna get to Agent Linda Carter, and they're going to somehow convince her to be on their team, and maybe through phones they're going to be able to get hold of Jess or something along those lines. Or maybe some hacking or whatever, that they find out where Billy is because Tasha's the hacker of the
The
group.
hacker. She's a hacker.
And
We're going to get her.
and regarding Billy, so not Billy, Liam and Oren, it's gonna be interesting to see how they get involved in all of this. But I do think at the end of next week's episode, they're going to come across the entrance to where the treasure is going to be kept.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that next week's episode is kind of, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's not enough spelunking in this series. Like, I get it. It's National Treasure. It's not Indiana Jones. I understand that. But like, we literally with Catherine Zeta-Jones's crew, we got one instance of them exploring one ancient American
Yeah,
like
one
temple
particular
or
cave that needs to be explored a hell of a lot more by the
yeah.
looks of things. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And it's just like,
so
so
yeah,
as I said, I mean, I get it, it's National Treasure, but even in National Treasure, they spent time in catacombs and in, and stuff like that. So it's like, I, as I said, I don't know about, like, that's why I'm kind of like, okay, well, they spent time in a church, they spent time in each other's apartments, they spent time, you know, in Mexico, like, but none of this is like anything really treasure hunter-y. As I said, yeah, it's a lot of clue solving, but it's like not treasure hunter-y. And I get this episode. I'm not even just talking about just this episode. Like, this was Prison Break. Okay, I get it. They're in a prison. It would have been awesome if they would have went into like an old prison or something. Like, part of it was in there. Like I don't know, some old
I
abandoned
get,
prison or something.
I get it. I thought to myself it's going to be a very simple job. I mean, they're going to empty the ducts. All of a sudden, boom, she's in the fucking showers. You know what I mean?
Because
And
that's
like
how prisons work. Maybe in
the way
Mexico.
that
I
duck,
don't know about
the
prisons
way
in Mexico.
the duct she went into, the way it looked like it had been bone dry for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it just
I know there
happened to
should have been water
be.
leaking everywhere. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Um, like I said, there's a lot of issues regarding this episode, and the whole culmination of it of the previous episodes. But I do expect somehow that the gang's going to pretty much get back together by the end of next episode, and that they're going to come across the entrance, and they're going to be possibly some of them are going to be held hostage by Billy. I mean, they might not necessarily come together by the end of next week, by the way, but I do feel that they'll all be in a similar space by the end of next week, or the big or the final episode in
Well,
2 weeks.
I mean, they are back in they'll be back in the States because they're heading to Mississippi. So that means that FBI agent lady can show up, and that means that, as long as Jess can get back in the country.
Yeah,
Well, with
yeah.
Jess,
I'm thinking that.
Jess is with Billy, so I'm sure Billy's just gonna fly them back into the States, and it's just, because she's got money,
Yeah,
it's not going to be a
in a
problem.
private jet. Yeah, in a
Yeah,
private jet.
she ain't going to need papers or anything to get back in or anything.
Well, I was just thinking because one of the issues I had with this was how Jessica was going to get back, but I feel that's going to be resolved because Billy is going to take her back with her dad as well, and then they still have to resolve the issue with Jess being the prime suspect to Peter Sadowski's murder, and so that has to be resolved somehow.
Well,
Because
they're gonna somehow find out it is a fake. Ah, it was a fake. Ah.
well, Agent Linda Carter, her boss doesn't seem to really. He's just happy to whatever evidence he gets. He's just happy to go with it. He's not willing to question anything. Also, Linda Carter's will she won't she relationship with the doctor that never
Yeah,
really saw much fruition.
the not the
The
doctor. What is he?
mortician,
A mortician.
the
Yeah.
mortician, yeah, the mortician. Yeah, he's still a doctor, I guess. Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
I guess. Yeah, you'd have to be. I guess. I don't know,
yeah.
man.
So yeah.
That's like so low on like the priority list here. It's like I totally forgot about it until you mentioned it. I didn't see
No,
him this episode
I
really.
want them to, get together. I mean, they
Oh.
look like
You just want to
they
see
look like they
two
make a
people
cute.
shag. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and also the relationship between Jess and Liam, or is it Jess and and Ethan? Who's she going to end up with if she does end up with either of them? So yeah. So there's a few things that need to be resolved, in my opinion. Even Oren and Tasha, I mean, they're kind of together, they're kind of not. So we'll see how that pans out as well.
Yeah.
There's loads of things that need to be resolved. Yeah, you want to see Billy get a comeuppance. Whether will she die, or will she be arrested? Because remember, in the first National Treasure movie, Peter Sadowski said somebody needs to go to jail. I mean, and
I bet you anything it's the redhead. The what's her name? She'll go to jail.
Casey,
Because
Casey,
Liam will testify against her that she's the one who threw him in the river or whatever. And yeah, like I'm pretty sure I shouldn't do predictions because I'm always wrong. I'll say maybe Billy will die, and then the redheaded chick will go to jail, for at least for the attempted murder of Liam.
well, you still got like two of our hand people alive. You still got that guy Dario alive, and you still got Casey alive.
I'm sure that all that will come to a head though in the final episode. Like it'll be team Billy versus team Jess, and it's Survivor Series. Just a slobber knocker.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was the episode. Once again, it was an adequate episode, as far as I'm concerned. And once again, I do understand that why people have these issues with this particular show. It does have plot holes. It can be a bit stupid at times, and very in certain scenarios and situations can be quite convenient. But I enjoy it. I really do. I shouldn't. Something like this should piss me the hell off. But once again, as I told Cheeto earlier, I think because I'm a sucker for treasure hunting and stuff like that, I very much appreciate the show. And I'm really hoping if they do find some underground catacombs in episode 9 or 10 next week or in 2 weeks, I want those Indiana Jones Tomb Raider type fucking booby traps and stuff like that. I want somebody to walk into the light and be speared, by doing so, like they were in Raiders of the Lost Ark. I want some boulder to be coming down, and they have to run away from it, like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I want them to be in a room which is going to crush them to death, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I want them to have to walk the path for a penitent man, and stuff like that, or spell the name of God, and it's Jehovah, and they get it wrong, but they have to spell it the Hebrew way, not the English way, and they step on these stones and they might fall through the ground, like there was in Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. I want those fucking booby traps, and I demand it. Because if they're going to go into those catacombs, which I expect them to do so, then it has to have booby traps in it. So I was just like, I did a review, the most recent review of the Bad Batch episode 4 or 5, I believe, season 2, and that was the Indiana Jones episode. They come across an ancient tomb, and it's full of booby traps and puzzles to solve and stuff like that. That's what I want, at some point. So yeah. All right, time to mark the episode. Are you doing a poll?
Already did it. It's already up.
Okay, you do a poll so well, man. You're the poll master.
That's right.
Okay,
I'm meant for that poll. I worked that poll really hard.
Excellent. So I'm going to give this episode a very generous, but nevertheless, is how I feel, 7 out of 10. What about you?
That's where I was going to sit at it with it, about a 7 out of 10. I was kind of going to go for a 6, but I don't care enough to really make it. As I said, I'm really enjoying the characters more than I'm enjoying the story and the treasure hunt. So for that, I'm giving it a 7.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, because I know the shortcomings, I totally get it. We'll see what happens next week now, because yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how things progress. I will say this: Jesse is definitely smarter than Billy. Billy's more when it comes to head to head, like then Jesse's definitely smarter than her. Billy obviously is more conniving
and connected,
and she's connected and richer and all of that. Yeah, exactly. So she's able to do things that most people weren't able to do, and to a degree, it's beyond Jesse's even comprehension of what she's capable of doing, like putting microchips in fucking shoes. That they never thought of that before, and that was even a way they couldn't contemplate that. But now they're obviously understanding the way Billy works, and I'm sure Jesse in the next 2 episodes will be way more smarter than Billy, and she's outsmarted Billy on a couple of occasions this series. So that's going to probably continue. I think she feels that she's got the better of her, which is why she gave herself in to save her dad. So yeah. All right. Another episode of National Treasure done and dusted. We're going to be back here at NerdTube for the Royal Rumble, baby. Now, I just want to say to everyone else out there that we have done a review. Our mate Ginger Greek, he's done a review of Extraordinary, which is a new show currently on Hulu in America and on Disney Plus in the UK. I highly recommend to watch that series. It's one of the most funniest things I've ever seen. I almost fucking died watching it. I really do mean almost died. I was so worried about how funny scenes were, because the pressure was building up in me that felt very painful. It felt painful to laugh because it was that funny, and I was worried it was going to kill me. Anyways, watch that show, then watch the review from Ginger Greek. Then this weekend we're going to be doing the Raw Rumble as
we
well.
Also have a fan film reaction coming out tomorrow, which would be Invincible.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit of a teaser. There's a reimagining of a very famous scene from Invincible. So it worth your time to kind of watch and show support to fan film creators.
Yep. I did try to do a trailer reaction of Invincible season 2. Unfortunately, that got copyrighted, so we are unable to do it. But yeah, we do look forward to that. And then we go full circle again. Because come Monday, we'll be talking about The Last of Us, episode 3. So yeah, keep an eye out for NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. We'll see you guys for the Rumble. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.